He was born in Africa. He was bullied at school, and his father was tyrannical. But he made his own way to Canada, and then got rich. He co-founded PayPal, co-founded Tesla, sent rockets into space, and then became the idol of many and is now the richest person in the world. This image of genius is known to everyone, but what if everything we know about Elon Musk isn't true? What if he is a fraudster and a swindler, pulling the wool over the ears of his admirers and investors? Today, let's try to get to the bottom of what is hiding under the mask of the Tesla and SpaceX CEO. That's what we will talk about today. Blank spots in the biography of Elon Musk. The fact that professionals worked on the image of the genius and inventor is indicated by the fact that his entire life story is subject to the rules of drama. To impress people and make them believe, it is important to create a contrast, the gap between then and now. In our case, he was a suffering boy from Africa who became a successful and flashy billionaire. And the image of a great martyr fits this picture just right. His father was a tyrant, he was bullied at school, and Amber Heard dumped him. You can't help but feel sympathy for him. He's just like you, or at least that's what his marketing and image makers want you to think. They only feed you those facts of Elon's biography that are necessary to give him certain traits. Like the hero in the movie, there are obvious inconsistencies in the character. He ran away from his father to Canada, but his father said in an interview with Forbes that Elon Musk and his brother Kimball moved to his mother to avoid being drafted into the South African Army. Whom to believe in this case? And contrary to claims that Elon achieved everything on his own, his mother said in an interview that at one time she got her son a job in Microsoft via an acquaintance. And his father is portrayed as a tyrant and despot, yet provided him and his brother with the first start-up capital of $28,000 to create Zip2, which we'll talk about separately. We wish we had such a father. Despot. For some reason, Elon's official history keeps silent about this. Despite the image of such an open and humble simpleton, everything we know about Elon is carefully filtered and not always true. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Let's move on to Elon's early years. Zip2, the internet says that in 1996, Elon Musk and his brother Kimball founded their first company, Zip2, which specialized in software for news companies. Within 3 years, it became super successful. And then in 1999, it was acquired by Compaq for $380 million. In addition, as we have already said, history keeps silent about the origin of the startup capital of this firm. Its success is not at all the merit of Musk. He was engaged in the creation and improvement of the product, while Kimball literally knocked at the doors of local firms, offering them their services. The brothers managed to find new investors, but they found Musk not experienced enough and invited Rich Sorpin, who changed the vector of the company, to the role of general manager. Elon Musk revolted, trying to overthrow the new boss, but he was not supported by the board of directors. In the end, Kimball led the company to commercial success and sale of the company, leaving Musk in the lurch. You may say the worst is first, but then he created PayPal, and therein lies the first of Musk's deceptions. He created PayPal. The internet proudly calls Musk the founder and almost the sole generic creator of PayPal. They say that in 1998, Elon Musk with like-minded people created the company, which transformed the industry of payments. In October 2022, PayPal was bought by eBay for $1.5 million, of which $175 million was Elon Musk's personal share. A well-deserved reward for a genius inventor? Well, it doesn't seem so. In fact, in March 1999, Elon created an online banking service called XCOM with a $12 million investment. Then, almost immediately, Musk met a very strong competitor, Confinity, led by Max Levchin and Peter Thiel. As a result, the companies merged and PayPal came into being. However, Joint operation of the two companies did not work out from the first days. Conflicts began almost immediately. Musk defended the name of his brainchild XCOM and his own efforts as the basis of the system. Musk's stubbornness led to a conflict with Thiel, who practically left the project. When Peter Thiel stepped down as CEO, it was an opportunity for Elon to show what he could do. Musk continued to push the brand name and development as hard as ever, but the programs were failing, and the banks threatened with penalties, up to and including total bankruptcy. Eventually, the board of directors ousted Elon Musk while he was on vacation with his wife and gave the reins to Peter Thiel. Thiel and Levchik developed the system to perfection, whereas Musk remained de facto the largest investor, but stayed out of the process. However, you have to give him credit. He proved himself in negotiations with eBay, convincing the buyers to raise the price to $1.5 billion. Well, thanks to that, Musk sells his stake in PayPal in the end, for a lot of money. Now let's compare these facts with the conventional point of view. Elon Musk single-handedly created PayPal from the ground up.
Wow, so that's what genius and inventor mean.
He created Tesla. His next brainchild was Tesla. Often in the media one sees Musk as the founder or co-founder of Tesla. The multitude of myths make the eyes water. Myth 1. Everything was invented and developed personally by Musk. The reality is much simpler. Tesla Motors was founded in 2003 by Martin Eberhard. He came up with the concept of an electric sports car and actually implemented it in the form of a prototype. Musk appeared later as one of the investors' representatives. The money was raised for the already existing car, otherwise, no one would have given money. It is indicative that in 2006, it was Martin Eberhard and not Elon Musk who publicly presented the car. Was Tesla only able to release its first car in 2008 because of Musk? That's unlikely. Myth 2. In Tesla, everything is proprietary. In reality, however, Tesla began as an electric sports car made of other companies' parts. After all, electric vehicles are relatively cheap. Tesla, on the other hand, made all of its margin on the elitism of the car. Tesla did not have its own production of components for a very long time, neither the technology for that. And all the projects concerned only the appearance of the cars, the shape of the flaps, the color of the handles, etc. Well, why think about the inside when you can buy everything in China? But to be fair, we should add that last year, Tesla finally started its own production of batteries in order to fulfill Musk's plan of producing 500,000 cars a year. Incidentally, Musk soon accused his designer and co-owner of inefficiency and fired him. Eberhard, in turn, sued Musk for breach of contract, but without success. It is clear that Musk made his career on that. SpaceX. Well, okay, Tesla, but he certainly created SpaceX, you will say. Okay, you can celebrate here, but not for long. Remember how the legend goes. In 2001, Musk got the idea that it was time to colonize Mars. And so he went to Russia, where he tried to find a cheaper rocket, but failed to. He realized, however, that he had built a rocket by himself. It would be 10 times cheaper than to borrow one from the state. In 2002, driven by this brilliant idea, Musk created SpaceX. In December 2008, NASA signed a $1.6 billion contract with the company for 12 launches of the Falcon 9 carrier rocket and Dragon spacecraft to the ISS. Bottom line is the rocket flew. The first stage landed and the world applauded. How sweet that sounds. So what's really going on? At its launch, Musk invested in SpaceX about $100 million. The brain and main designer of the project was engineer Tom Lier with his team. And here begins the most interesting part. Tom, at the time of Musk's proposal, worked as the chief designer of the largest hydrogen engine within TRW. In fact, over the course of 15 years, he went from being a minor engineer to almost vice president of TRW, the company that developed almost all of America's reconnaissance satellites. Wheeler was the most important rocket scientist there. Suddenly, he leaves his vice presidential position to join the complete newcomer Musk. And he is not leaving alone. He is taking the leading rocket specialist from TRW. and TRW Mueller was in charge of the hydrogen engine, and with Musk, he took on the oxygen kerosene engine without complaining. In case you're not aware, hydrogen and kerosene engines relate to each other like a Ferrari and a submarine. But that's not the only thing about SpaceX. It's important to note that the first Falcon X launch was paid for by the US Department of Defense through the DARPA program in the Advanced Rocket Launcher format. DARPA is the super secret office of which our inventor Elon Musk is a member. Another miracle. An inventor who not only has the full support of the Pentagon and DARPA, but also works with a team that has already worked together. Isn't that too much of a miracle? A number of space experts argue that it is completely unrealistic. Developing an engine, control system, and other elements of launch vehicles from scratch requires many decades of work. Not to mention the fact that Musk's work was easily synchronized with the launch complex at Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. Where did he get the whole interface to connect the carrier to the launch complex? There's only one answer. Musk got it all ready, made from somewhere else. Experts are convinced that Musk is effectively representing the US military and, under the guise of a private project, is developing the technology they need. Maybe, of course, aliens helped him, but the option of special services seems more plausible to many. Musk is not the first to be used in such a capacity. For example, the American inventor and billionaire Howard Hughes, the real prototype of Tony Stark, by the way, is under the banner image. A number of American projects are underway under his watch, including the recovery of the sunken Soviet nuclear submarine in the Atlantic. Hyperloop. Musk is famous for his futuristic, bordering on the fantastic plans. In an interview in 2012, he said that while standing in a traffic jam, he came up with the perfect idea for the fifth mode of transport.
Phase 1, collect underpants. Phase 2, Phase 3, profit.
Oh, I get it. No, you don't, fat ass. Do you guys know anything about corporations?
The project was called the Hyperloop. As usual, the entrepreneur promised that his new vehicle would be twice as fast as an airplane and 3 to 4 times faster than a high-speed train. The transportation will not be affected by accidents. The road will be solar-powered, and passengers will not have to adjust their schedule in general. One trip will cost $30. And he made, of course, an honest promise that this would be the case. So in August 2013, a 58-page alpha version of the project was published. By the way, the media career of Elon Musk flared up at full throttle. But you have probably long realized that everything is not so simple. Otherwise, we would not talk about it. Hyperloop was announced as an alternative to the government's California high-speed rail project, which would connect Los Angeles and San Francisco by 2024. Musk said that the reported price tag of $68.4 billion was exorbitant, and his Hyperloop would cost 10 times less. Well, we've heard that somewhere before, haven't we? But almost immediately, after the alpha version of the project was published, Elon Musk announced that he was not going to do the realization himself, giving similar rights to anyone interested. Naturally, several groups of enthusiasts jumped on the idea, but they didn't get very far. The first experiments showed that the project would cost much more than Elon Musk had predicted. In January 2015, Musk unexpectedly announced that he would take on the Hyperloop after all. The billionaire decided to build a 5-mile-long test track in Texas. And in the summer, SpaceX announced a tender to build the capsule. The top prize went to a team from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It looks like Musk just fed young brains, and they came up with something after all. The question is, when will it come to the practical implementation of the project, and how much will it really cost? So far, the question remains unanswered, as are the dreams of colonizing Mars. Well, you have to admit these arguments are pretty convincing, but even if he hasn't completed any projects, he's still the richest man in the world. What do you think? Is Musk an evil genius or a project of the state? Write in the comments. And of course, subscribe to the channel. There will be more videos soon.